Okay, let's get this design put together. Now the first thing you do is you cut a piece of stabilizer or fusible backing larger than the whole of the design is going to be, and you fuse that to the back of your fabric, the whole of your fabric. Doesn't have to be a heavy one. It can be a lightweight fusible, or it can be a lightweight stabilizer, and you just give it a gentle spritz of the quilter's adhesive and then place it onto the wrong side of your stabilizer and spread it out evenly, turn it over the right way, and then make certain there are no wrinkles, no bubbles, no nothing. And hoop up your first hoop. And remember that you are doing 4 hoopings. So don't go hooping it right in the center of your piece of fabric, because it won't work. You'll run out of fabric. Okay. Now when you've stitched the first design, which is this one, and you've got your first placement stitches, okay, you then, and I'm going to hide the hoop now, and I'm also going to move all this, so I want to highlight that, and I want to group it, because I'm going to pretend now that this is on your fabric, and I'll move that up to there, up to about that point. No, it's got to come over here. I'll get it right in a minute. There it is. Now I go to embroidery. You don't have to do this, you just send all these to your machine. And I bring in hoop number 2. And it's brought it into what would have been the center of the hoop had the hoop been showing. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this, and I meant to mention the other way to Fiona, and it completely slipped my memory. You hoop up your next piece of stabilizer, and it's a separate piece, it's not attached to the fabric. When it's hooped, you take it to the machine and you stitch the first alignment marks. That's these green ones. Okay? Now while that's all highlighted, I'm going to edit and tell it group, because I don't want them to move unexpectedly. And you can either push some pins through the corresponding alignment marks down through the top of your fabric, which is how Carol does it, and she lays her hoop onto a thick pad. Now I would suggest you lay it on a piece of polystyrene. You know, the stuff that comes in as packing when you buy some electrical goods. If you're lucky enough to get hold of some big sheets, you hang on to them. Now I've got all mine that I hung on to because I find them really invaluable. When you've put your pins through, you spray the stabilizer in the hoop, you take your fabric to the hoop, and you align your alignment marks. So we're going to move this up, and if you run it through in your software first, you'll see which ones they are. Okay, I'm going to blow this up so as you can see clearly. Right. This alignment line, or this alignment mark, goes with that alignment mark. So if you use Carol's method, you bring your fabric and you push the pin down through the alignment mark that's on the stabilizer. The other alignment mark that you're after is, there's always at least two, and here he is down here. It's that one to that one. Okay, you push the pin that's under the fabric just here down over that one, and the pin that's in the fabric just here down over that one. And if we move them into position, you'll see they marry up. Okay, that one's now been covered by this design. This one has now been covered by this design, and that one has now been covered. Now the way I do it slightly different to Carol. I actually push the pin up through the stabilizer and I bring my fabric over to the pins. And then I impale my fabric over the top of the pins. Alignment mark to alignment mark to alignment mark. And these are just slightly out, so I'm just going to nudge them over. That's it. And it just needs two little hotches down. That one I've taken too far down. There we go. Now those triangles look like one. So now that's perfectly aligned. And that's how you do it on your fabric. So now I bring in hoop number 3. Insert design. Here it is. Open. And while it's highlighted, I tell that one, group. You've stabilized another bit of stabilizer. No fabric. You stitch the first alignment marks, and there's 3 of them this time. Okay. Using my method, you would push your pins up through the center point of these 3 alignment crosses. Using Carol's method, you would push your pin down through your fabric, which has got your 2/4 on it, into the center of the 3 alignment marks. And if we move our design, I think it's this one goes to that one, and not quite certain where the next one is. I get a bit confused by these because I generally use my own alignment lines. Right. That one belongs on that one. Okay. This one belongs on that one. And it looks like this one belongs on that one, but I'm not totally certain yet. So I drop him down into position. And he's a little bit too far to the right, so I nudge him over. And if I get my pins right the first time, I don't have to worry about getting anything misaligned. It's far more accurate than the old cloth setter. The old cloth setter could vary by anything up to 1/2 inch. And the reason it could vary by anything up to 1/2 inch was because the arm would loosen and you wouldn't know it. And it's amazing how many people never used to recalibrate their cloth setter after doing a couple of designs. Okay, so now we've got the third hoop in, and we've got our alignment marks all perfectly matched up, so we bring in the fourth one. Insert design, and we hoop up our fourth bit of stabilizer. Doesn't have to be thick or heavy, it can be a tearaway, as long as you fused a stabilizer to the back of the whole piece of your fabric. And the reason it has to be the whole of the fabric is to stop the fabric from stretching, because if you don't do it, your fabric will stretch and you'll never get your designs to line up, because the minute stitches go on fabric, they alter how the fabric behaves, and you've got to minimize that, and that's what you use stabilizer for. And as I said, it doesn't have to be a tremendously strong one, but it's got to cover the whole of the area of your fabric. Right, so now this one looks as though it wants to go down onto that one. This one, I don't know where that wants to go. I can't even guess where that one's going to go. Ah, no, of course I've got this on the wrong side, haven't I? I've got to move this over here. So, let's move my screen over. Always helps if you've got it in the right place. And move the design, and then I'll start to see where the alignment lines have got to go. Now I can see where the first one has got to go, and I can see where the second one has got to go now. Okay, first alignment mark has got to come down over this one. The second alignment mark, which is this one, has got to come down over that one. So I move him over, only I'm actually moving my fabric, I'm not moving my design. And I drop that down onto the pins. And it looks like one more. No, I've taken it too far to the right, so I'm either bring it down or take it up. No, it's got to go up and up again. Now it looks like one single cross. And now you can see the whole design is married up, and I'm going to hide all the jumps between the alignment marks. And the alignment marks are really easy to remove. You just whip them out with a crewel needle or a wool needle with a really blunt end. So I'm going to hit Shift and C. Right, now they've all disappeared. And there's your design. And you've stitched a big design. Let's see how big it is. I don't want the alignment marks on the outside, so I won't include them in the box, because I only want to know the size of the design. And I didn't get the others all in, so I have to bring it out a bit further. I don't think I'm going to get it all in now. Nope. Come on, Max. Wise up. Oh, you be Beelzebub. I'll get you another way then. Okay, there it is. Unfortunately, it's including all the alignment lines. So we'll go into Object Detail, Dimensions, and it tells me it's 225 by 221. But of course, don't forget we've got the alignment marks out here, up here, out here, and down here. So you've put together a design which is 200 by 200 millimeters in a hoop that's only 140 by 140 millimeters, using the alignment marks that the program has given you. Colors, green. And I've grouped them all, haven't I? Oh well, never mind. So I hope that's given you some ideas, and I hope it's encouraged you to try doing some of your own. And if you use the Myers ornaments, you've seen what the challenge takers have come up with. They are really fantastic, and you only need to do a quarter of a design to end up with a huge design. So I'll see you all in a later set of videos.